Well, hello everybody and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you something. Now here's two identical looking Bachmann tank cars. Alright. Now this one here's got Microtrains trucks, Atlas metal wheel sets. This one here's got Microtrains trucks but with Microtrains wheel sets. They're plastic, these are metal. I swapped them out for the middle ones when I first bought them to, try something out. But I'm going to give the one with the Microtrains wheels a little tap. Now I'm going to give the one with the Atlas wheels a little tap. Same strength. The Atlas didn't run very far, did it? The reason for that being, the ends of the axles are too thick and these ends of these axles are very thin, making this quite a free rolling car, and this one here acting like it's got brakes. Now you might think that's not very bad or anything else like that. You might think, oh well, it's fine, it's a model. Think of this, you're driving down the highway and you squeeze on the brakes, but you're still trying to go 60 miles an hour, so you got to hit the gas. Now, let's say that you're going down the highway at 60 miles an hour, but you ain't using no brakes. It'll just roll. Now, when you take into account how many of these you're wanting to run, each one with the brakes on is taking away 3 cars. This is creating enough resistance for that locomotive to delete 3 cars. If we swap this out for the right wheel sets, we'll see what happens. Alright, now what I'm using for this little project is the Microtrains standard brown wheel sets with a medium flange. It means that they're a little smaller on the flange as the old pizza cutters. Now, they tell you to try to use a restraining spring if the car rolls free, but believe it or not, it's just better to let the car roll free and make your sidings flat. So let's open this old box up. I don't know how many of you have ever replaced a wheel set, but it's not actually that complicated. I'm going to take this car and flip it upside down. My hand's in the way, yeah. Alright. So, now we can see this truck back here. Just pull on one wheel and they'll pop right out. Alright. Ain't nothing to that. You can also squeeze and they pop out that way too. Alright. It's very soft, very flexible plastic, so you ain't really got much to worry about. They'll just come right loose. One thing you want to check is look in the pockets where the actual wheels go, and if you see dirt or lint in there, give it a quick blow. Usually come right clean. Right. If they don't, you can use a Rix pick or you can use a screwdriver or something. Take it in there, twist, pop right out. And there you got that gunk on the end of the Rix pick. If I can get this thing to focus. Focus. Well, okay, it won't focus on something that small, but you get the idea. Just get the lint out of those journal boxes or axle pockets, whatever you want to call them. And once you're done with that, you're good to go again. Now, I've oiled these before, and literally it takes less than a drop of oil, just basically a smear of oil, to oil up these journal pockets for 20 years. So you really don't need to do it at all. And if you do it, you only need to do it once, ever. Even if you're swapping wheel sets. As long as the journal pockets had a smear of oil in it before, it'll hold. Now, when you're going to put new wheel sets on, it's the same thing but in reverse. You take and put the wheel in the hole and just push it forward. Once it's in the pocket, you're good. Just make sure that both ends are in and it spins. Alright. Now I've got one more axle to go after this one, and then we'll do a side-by-side test. Now remember, this thing only rolled about 4 inches when I flicked it the last time, but the other one rolled a good 2 feet. Alright. Actually, I almost had to grab it before it hit the camera stand. Now, I know how to rail these pretty well, so I don't really use a re-railer anymore, but if you wanted to, here's my Kato re-railer. And just to show you what happens, put it on there, flick it, you're done. Alright, that's how easy it is to use a re-railer. It's not difficult. Alright, so we got 2 cars, same spot, each side. We'll flick the inside one first. Oop. And of course I golf clubbed it. That was my fault. Stop hanging up on the guardrail. There you go. Alright. Okay. And I golf clubbed it again. Now all of a sudden my hand don't want to work. So I just use my finger. Alright. There we go. Way in under the camera. That one there about the same distance. If I back it up and flick it again as hard as I flicked the other one. Yeah, clear and under the camera. There you go. Now, back when this was sitting on the layout, the way that this is, it was the equivalent of the train having to pull all of this. See why that rolls about the same length as it used to roll? It's literally because even though these have free rolling wheels on each one, every one you add on adds a little resistance. So it will try to stop. It just won't try to stop as quick as wheels that are stuck. So when the wheels are free, I should double check that turnout before I did that. When the wheels are free, cars and locomotives have no problem with each other. The locomotives can actually pull 3 times as much when the wheels aren't sticking as it can with just that little bit of resistance of what I would have considered an HO, a free rolling car, of a car that can move just 3 feet. I mean just 3 or 4 inches when you pushed it. This is a free rolling car. Big difference. Much bigger difference. Alright. I'll be right back with final thoughts. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on why you should have free rolling cars on your layout. Yes, it's exactly the same concept. If you're trying to get your car to go and you've got your foot on the brake, it's harder for the car to go. You'll even watch your RPM gauge go way up. When you're watching your train go around and you're watching the amps go up in spots, it's usually because of a stuck wheel set that's rolling and then stuck, rolling then stuck. You can always check your amps out on an NCE power cab. As you can see right now with my train sitting still, I'm at 3 amps. I mean 0.03 amps. It's not much, but that's literally the lights just running off the locomotive. If I add any voltage to it, it will creep up in amps. There we go. I'm in speed step 1 and I'm at 8 amps. I'm not worried about anything happening because that train ain't really moving. It's moving a tie space about every 3 seconds. Now that's with my passenger cars on it, and they are quite a bit heavier and quite a bit more stuck wheels. So I don't even think it moved at all, to be honest with you. And that's what I mean. If you have free rolling wheels on your freight cars, even with sound equipped locomotives and stuff like that, you shouldn't be drawing more than 3/4 of an amp max, even with a couple of them hooked up, unless you're crazy and you got like 20 of them running. N-scale locomotives don't really use more than 1/10 of an amp unless they're sound equipped. If they're sound equipped, they're going to use more amps. I've seen some sound equipped units out there that use 9/10 of an amp instead of 1/10 of an amp. The motor's still the same and everything else, but it's the power going through the sound system that actually makes that amp jump. So you've got one locomotive pulling almost a whole amp, and you got a 2.5 amp system like I got. Yeah, I could be running 2 sound equipped locomotives, or I could be running 25 normal N-scale locomotives. Makes you think. That's why I've said for years I'll wait to add sound till I can afford the boosters, because it does take a lot more power. Now granted, that was an N-scale steam locomotive. I think it was the Althorn Big Boy or something, and it just blew my mind how much power that actually used. But you know, this is final thoughts. I want you to check out my Patreon. If you can donate even $1 a month, please donate $1 a month. If you can donate more than that, that's awesome. Every little bit helps. But if you do donate to my Patreon, just like all the rest of my Patreon subscribers and anybody that's donated me any items to this layout, I will gladly add you to the credits of these videos. And once I can get back to work on the large layout that I am still planning on, you will get a little brass plaque that'll be about 1.5 inches by 3 inches with your choice of your actual name, your YouTube handle, or your Patreon account handle. It doesn't really matter to me. I will more than gladly put that on the layout. That layout is made to go to shows. That's why it's kind of taking so long. It's because I'm going to be putting a lot of my time and resources into that layout. And right now I just don't have the space to build it. So it's kind of a toss-up. And if I do get to work on it, even with the lack of space, I can do it. It's just going to be 3 times more complicated to do it. I am planning on moving very soon back to Maryland, as soon as possible actually. When I do move back to Maryland, you will see that big layout. All the plans, all the workings of it is going to happen. I have places back home where I can set something up and build it back home. I have many friends and everything else that would gladly donate me some space to do that. I just don't have it right now, right here where I'm at. Well, I hope you found this enjoyable and interesting. For the life of me, I don't know why I'm still rambling on. Have a good one, everybody.